Hello, everyone. Great to have you here with us today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dr. Lydia, and we are here together at Geriahub by Dr. Lydia. So, over the other episodes, we have been discussing the concept of healthy aging and the different things we need to think through as we age with grace. So, today's topic is a topic that is close to my heart. We're going to talk about financial retirement and just the process of what you think about when you are considering the concept of financial retirement. And so financial retirement starts with a plan. You need to have a plan, so that you determine your long-term financial goals and the type of risks that you want to put in place as you're planning for your retirement. So this is a process that takes a while, And the earlier you start, the better it is for you. And why is this important? Because we want you to retire and age gracefully and live your old days with dignity and respect. So the first thing you need to do is to identify your goals. What do you want to do when you have retired? What do you want to have as your activities? What do you want to be interested in and be able to afford in your older days, right? So after determining your future goals, you come back to the present. And in the present times, you start asking yourself, what is my current financial position? This is very important because, as we know, how much you are earning determines how much you spend, how much you save, and how much you're able to indulge and spoil yourself in terms of the money you can put aside to enjoy yourself. We all know that life is short, and part of life is that we need to enjoy ourselves. So as you're planning for the future, you need to be able to think through those things, right? After you have analyzed your current financial situation, then you need to understand your income sources. A lot of financial gurus tell us that it is wise to have multiple sources of income. And so it is good to think through how much money is coming in and where all these income streams are coming from. After we have considered all these things, then you start planning about and considering your investment portfolio. How much do you want to put into your retirement plans? How much do you want to put into your sinking fund? How much do you want to put into your day-to-day recurrent expenditure? How much do you want to put into how much you spend on, spoiling yourself and all these wellness activities that we have? And all this can be done, of course, by yourself, but it is also important to get an investment coach to guide you through the process. After doing your investment planning, we need to plan for unforeseen life events. As we all know, life is never a straight line. And there are all manner of events that can happen to us, good or bad. We can get sick, we can get married, we can graduate from school, we can have birthdays, we might need to go for a boys' trip to wherever or a girls' trip to Mombasa. And so all these life events require us to use our resources. So part of the investment planning is that we are also able to plan for these unforeseen events. Finally, we need to start managing this portfolio that we are working on. And then even after we have retired, we need to continuously monitor this retirement package that we have. Remember, even as we are considering all these things, think about inflation. Think about the increasing standard of living. The cost of living is always going up. It never comes down. And these are things you need to consider because your 10 shillings today will be 5 shillings in the future. So when you have an investment coach, they're able to advise you on all these things so that you plan in a prudent manner. Wellness. We keep talking about wellness. So what are the 6 dimensions of wellness? Number 1, your emotional well-being. Number 2, your mental or intellectual well-being. Number 3, your physical well-being. Number 4, your social well-being. Number 5, your spiritual well-being. And finally, your financial well-being. So your emotional well-being, how happy are you? How sad are you? How anxious are you? How stressed are you? Those are all things we need to consider and manage in good time. Number 2, your intellectual well-being. And as we go on, we are going to talk about the brain and how to stay mentally engaged. Do we keep learning new skills? Are we learning are we learning how to play the piano? Are we learning new games like chess that keep us mentally stimulated? And that is how we keep our brain engaged, and young. Number 3, physically, are we exercising? Exercise is so important because then we increase the blood flow to the various body organs and we are able to stay young and energized and healthy. Number 4, social well-being. We realize that man is not an island. We need other people so that we can be, engaging with them to share our happy moments, our sad moments. And in Africa, this is a well-known fact that whenever there's a wedding or a funeral or a graduation, it's never a one-man affair. The whole community comes together to enjoy or to be with the people who have been bereaved. So we need to make sure that we keep socially engaged so that we are able to be connected to the people around us. Number 5, spiritual. Very important because otherwise, why are we alive, So this spiritual component is very important because then we are able to know why we are alive, why we are created, what our purpose is, and we are able to ensure that we live a life that is able to mentor others and have an impact on the community and the people around us. And then lastly, our financial well-being, where we get resources in a dignified manner, spend it in a dignified manner, and then are able to plan for our future so that we are financially secure. So what's the importance of retirement planning? Number 1, of course, financial security. Whenever there's a problem or whenever you want something, you just want to go to the bank and swipe, right? So there's an element of financial security that is very important in retirement planning. Number 2, longevity. We want to live for long and to age with grace and to be healthy and happy while at it. Number 3, we want to maintain our healthcare costs. As we know, as we grow older, our body starts letting us down and we start getting sick more often. And so these healthcare costs can really wipe us and wipe out our financial resources. So it's very important that we put these healthcare costs into consideration. Number 4, we need to be sure that we start these processes early. There is a blessing that is called time. Why am I saying time? Because when you have time, you're able to benefit from compound interest. And so even when you're young, even when you've gotten your first job, I know you won't be earning a lot. Your earning power will not be as high. But because you're putting aside small amounts and because you have the benefit of time, that small amount of money is able to grow exponentially, which will then beef up your financial security. We also want independence and control. You don't want to be old and every time you're calling your son or your daughter and you're telling them, nitupie kakitu hapo, can you bail me out? You want to be able to be dignified, to be able to control what you do, when you do it, and how you do it, right? Because you have the resources to back it up. Next, you want legacy planning. The Bible says that a wise man leaves a legacy for his children. So even as we keep living, we want to be able to leave something for the next generation so that we know that they are financially secure as well. And you cannot overemphasize the fact that you want peace of mind, right? Throughout this process, that you know that you're secure and you're doing well. So the process of retirement planning, as we have said, requires you to determine and identify your income sources, add up your expenses, put a savings plan into effect, manage your assets, keep budgeting, keep saving, and then you'll have something in the future that will be worthwhile. Okay? And so a retirement plan can be seen as a roadmap that guides you so that you have comfortable life in future, right? And remember that all this is done in the background of legal ramifications. Remember to get legal advice as you go, because then you're able to secure your money and get all the tax advice that you need so that you don't end up using all this money to pay for unnecessary taxes that you are not supposed to pay for anyway. So what are the 3 stages of retirement planning? Number 1, it starts when you're very young, actually. At the age of 21 to 35, that's the first phase of investment planning. At this stage, of course, we are starting out in life. We are very young. We are not earning a lot of money. But as I said, at this point in time, what you have is the gift of time, the benefit of time. And this will make sure that whatever investment you're putting aside will gain compound interest. And as you grow older, these small amounts suddenly start compounding and becoming bigger, okay? And the second phase is age 36 to 50. Here, people have become competent in what they do. They have grown through the ranks. They are now earning well. And these midlife years, if they are planned correctly, can make the best impact on your investment plan and your investment portfolio. At this stage of time, between 36 and 50, you're still in the phase where you can still benefit from compounding. You still have the gift of time, right? So here, get a financial planner to guide you through the process of budgeting and saving and, putting your money aside and where to save it, and the issues around risk and taxes and the issues around inflation. Get someone to guide you through it. I cannot complete this section without talking about life insurance, because at the age of 36 to 50 is also where we get family. We get wives and husbands and children. And because life is life, anything can happen to us, it's also very important to consider life insurance. Because when you have life insurance, this means that even though something happens to the primary provider, then the family is able to keep surviving and to keep utilizing the resources that had been saved from the insurance cover. I actually know of a few people whose parents passed away, but because they had life insurance, the children were able to be catered for financially. They were able to be educated all the way to university. And I'm sure as a parent, it gives you a lot of peace of mind to know that even in my absence, my money will work for me and my money will take care of my children. Because surely, why are we going to work? We are going to work so that our children can get the best. So the last phase of this process is age 50 to 65. At this phase, of course, you're also earning more, but what happens at this phase is that you're also at the point where we start thinking about retirement. We also start worrying about unforeseen medical events. You might get sick, right? We also start worrying about loss of employment. And so all these things can diminish your investment portfolio. But if you had planned well, you do not have a reason to worry. And so what we are saying is start early, because when you start early, you have the gift of time, and the gift of time comes with compound interest. So there's a very nice question that comes up next, and I want to ask it to you. And my question is, how much do you think you need when you retire? That's the primary question that we all need to be asking ourselves. That when I'm retiring and I'm not working, how much do I think I will need for my survival at that period of time? And science has shown that there's an 80% rule. That whatever you're earning now, at that point in time, you'll need about 80% of your current salary to survive. So the question that I'm giving to all of us do we have that 80% to help us go through life when we have retired? And that's why I'm very passionate about this topic, because I want us to start planning early. I want us to start thinking about these things early so that we can age with grace. So it's very good to create a retirement budget where you actually conceptualize and you're thinking about the stage of retirement, and you're telling yourself, when I have retired, how much do I think I will pay for rent? How much do I think I will pay for health insurance? How much do I think I will pay for food and clothing and transportation? And now that budget will guide you in determining how much money you will put aside for that time. Remember, when you have retired, you also have the gift of time, yeah? You'll have time to do other things. You remember, you're not going to work, so you'll probably want to travel more or indulge in hobbies more, or, entertain yourself in this, that, and the other. So it's very important that even as you're working on your retirement budget, that you think about the cost of entertainment, hobbies, travel, hosting, etc., so that you're able to come up with a package that articulates your retirement period in a succinct manner. So as I finish, my message to us today is start early and plan ahead, so that we ensure that even as we are aging, we have the resources and the financial backup that will enable us to age with grace. Thank you very much. Keep joining us in this journey where we keep unpacking this issue of healthy aging and ensuring that we are covered in all the elements and all the aspects that we need to, so that even as we are old, we shall ensure that we have wellness in all the different components that we have spoken about. Please leave a comment down there. Ask your questions. Let us know which topics you want us to cover next, because we surely have a lot to unpack, and we have a lot that we will be talking about even as we go ahead. Thank you very much, and see you in the next session.